Hey everyone, it's Jamie from BestNerdLife and welcome to another video game review. The grappling hook is an age-old gaming staple. It is a reliable tool, one that is usually easy to acquire but difficult to master. And it is this tool that is the main focus of Spike Mountain, the latest game developed by WorldForm. Hailing from Australia, WorldForm is an indie studio that wants to suck their players into the games they create. Using atmosphere, scale and attention to detail, they plan to immerse their player base into all manner of digital worlds. Before continuing, for the sake of transparency, I do want to say that Elliot from WorldForm did provide me with a pre-release code to get this review out for the launch date, so thanks for that. Overcoming the challenges of Spike Mountain entails using precision movement to conquer each obstacle. Grappling hooks are used to swing back and forth and build momentum. Gain enough and the player can then launch themselves a fair distance through the air. If things go horribly wrong, the end result is a swift and merciful death. And I can guarantee things will go wrong many times. In the same vein as Celeste or Super Meat Boy, Spike Mountain is a game of trial and error. It requires quick reflexes to navigate and an iron will to succeed. Control wise, it's fairly simple. Spacebar to jump, A and D to move left and right, and W and S to move up and down when appropriate. The mouse is for aiming and the left click will deploy a hook. There's some slightly more advanced combinations of presses to do, but it's all fairly accessible. 2 grappling hooks can be deployed one after the other each time the character leaves the ground. They will then detach after a few seconds. This adds a nice bit of fairly unique movement to the game. I will admit, getting the timing right for building momentum was a little frustrating to get used to. The amount of grapples available and the time until they detach are displayed discreetly above the character. All this helps communicate information to the player without being too distracting. The art style itself is a little too minimal for my taste, although overall it does work. Some assets seem to be more detailed than others, which gives the game a slightly haphazard, uneven look. There's definitely a charm to it though, and there's enough visual depth. It's also very easy to see where the grappling hooks can attach to. The overworld is actually the most visually pleasing. Initially, I thought the game was sectioned off into different levels. There are markers that go up the mountain periodically, a little like a classic Mario game, but no, these just represent flag checkpoints on the journey, ticking off as the traveller carries on. Each checkpoint also has a tally of how many times the character died during that particular stretch. It's a nice little touch. Later sections also do start to get creative with the environment without straying too far from the original mountain setting. Perth-based musician Max Martin provides the soundtrack. From the funky little beat on the overworld to the slightly more suspenseful music when playing, it's all pretty easy listening. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of this type of Twitch gameplay. I find it all a little too frustrating to truly find entertaining. However, for someone who does enjoy these types of games, Spike Mountain is a solid addition to their library. For the price, I'd be hard pressed not to recommend. Whilst not as pretty as similar games, it still comes out swinging. If you do want to find a little bit more out about the making of this game, I would highly recommend heading over to the BestNerdLife website to read the interview I did with Elliot. I'll link that in the description below. Having said all that, if you did enjoy this video, then by all means like, comment, subscribe, do all that social media goodness, and as always keep living that best nerd life.